Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of Psvg, the official podcast of PlaySomeVideoGames.com and the flagship show of the Psvg Podcast Network. Normally, I'd insert a witty one-liner here, but I want to address something. Unrated, OT, they both seem to have a habit lately of starting their shows off by saying how great their shows are and how it carries the network and it's the best show on the network. Let Daddy put you in your place right now. You wouldn't exist if it wasn't for this show. Just saying.
This is the OG.
It is the OG. So, with that being said, it is I, your host, Kevin. With me this week, of course, is Donnie. Sir, how we doing?
Greetings, Koopalings.
Donnie's tired.
Friday.
I made Donnie start a little bit later, so he's tired. We'll see how cranky he is. Sure, soon enough, I'm sure. Also, with us, the man, the myth, the legend, 2x Tyler. Sir, how we doing?
Oh, man, I thought you forgot my name for a second. I'm like, oh, Baba Duke. Come on. What the heck's going on here? Great movie, by the way. Actually, no, it's terrible. But I'm doing okay, man. Apparently, people are starting to complain that I might be playing a little too much of a certain game called RuneScape. An MMO, popular, has 100,000 people playing it. Maybe. I don't know. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah. I mean, it was popular at one time. Like
it
95, 96, was that what it was? I'm just kidding.
I don't even think it was out then. Come on, give me a little slack here. Jeez.
Fair enough. But let's talk about what we have been playing. Maybe something from this decade. So, Tyler, since you're already talking, besides RuneScape, what else have you been playing?
Man, I finally am starting to pick up the pieces because back in say February and March of this year, there was a whole slew of games that came out like crazy, and like I started picking up like Yakuza and then Horizon Zero Dawn, and I wanted to start working on them, but then that big old Goliath known as Breath of the Wild just took over the entire slot for months, and I finally am starting to pick things up. I had beaten Horizon Zero Dawn over the summer. Last summer, I mean, but anyways, I'm finally starting back on Yakuza 0. I've been playing the crap out of it right now, and I'm running a club cabaret thing right now. The bunch of
like cabarets in the musical.
Sure, I'll take your word for it. I mean, yeah, it's like I have a customer. I need some drinks now. I don't know. Anyways, besides that, I kind of got the urge to play a little bit of Dead Space because I was telling myself, oh, I played Dead Space so many times, it's not going to be scared this time. I know where all the jump scares are. I was wrong. Video will be coming up on YouTube sometime after this, so you'll see it. You'll see it.
Sweet. Is there jump? Are you going to jump in it?
I do shout quite a few times. There may be some vulgarity. Like I was talking a bunch of smack saying, oh, this isn't bad. I know there's going to be a monster coming out of this one. I'm like, it didn't come out. And then I'm playing on hard mode where sometimes after you defeat the necromorphs, they'll play dead.
Yeah.
Because in normal, they don't do that as often. And so, I'll pop off a couple of limbs because 2 limbs usually kills it instantly. And this one, sometimes you need a 3rd limb. And it's really, really frightening sometimes because you think, all right, show's over. Let's keep I'll crap my pants and all that stuff. Then, I'll talk about MMO that shall not be named. The 4th time in a row. So
4th time today?
Details.
Yeah,
details.
Fair enough. So me, I'm kind of a broken record too there, Tyler. I'm still playing Metal Gear Solid. I'm finally past the point of where I find it weird, and now I'm enjoying it. I'm having a lot of fun with it, even though it's like some of the missions are still repetitive, but I mean my puppy grew up, so now I have a dog that can stab people for me. So that's awesome in itself. Yeah. Yeah, little puppy grew up and is like, you could take the dog out missions with you. And I'm like, okay. And it was all right at first. Like it would mark out, where enemies were. So I didn't have to like find them.
Just running down a field for 5 minutes and all you hear, enemies targeted.
Exactly.
Found. You just bark and just let me know.
And I'm like, how does the dog know? But anyway, so I mean, it was semi-helpful. But then I was like, hey, you can craft this for your dog and allow your dog to stab enemies. I'm like, I'm giving my dog a knife? This is amazing. So yeah.
Dogs, friendly hop up to the guy. It's like, oh, it's cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you pet the dog. You're like, good doggy. Good dog.
Mm-hmm.
Good dog.
Good boy.
It's weird. Besides that, playing Injustice 2, obviously the Ninja Turtles came out, talked about it last show. Awesome. They're probably one of my favorite characters. I guess you have to call them all together in the game so far. So it's a lot of fun. So I hopped in that with my daughter a little bit, played that. near the end, I believe, of Night in the Woods. Finally, I had kind of taken a hiatus from it. I had been busy and didn't have time at work to play it like I normally would. So I'm running up to the end of that. So I want to talk a little bit about it, but I want to, before I get to Donnie, but I want to mention some other things real quick.
What's up?
I am out of Psvg next week. I'm traveling for work. So I picked up a couple games for the Switch to play in my travel. So I did pick up Fee, I think it's officially called Fee is like how you pronounce it.
Sure.
So I haven't played that, so I'll report on that when I come back. I know Donnie did not pull the trigger on that one because he's playing other things that he'll talk about, but I did, so I'll report back on that. And I did pre-purchase, as did Donnie, Old Man's Journey, so I'll be able to report on that as well. Shocking news, though. Here's the one that probably nobody thought was ever going to happen. Tomorrow, I'm meeting up with Mr. Josh Bones himself, and I'm buying an Xbox One S.
I'm so sorry. I mean, that's great news. Awesome, man. Good job for you.
It's awesome news. It's good stuff.
He's giving me an offer I couldn't refuse. So I will jump in. I will play the exclusives. It's still probably going to be just like an exclusive machine, much like the Switch is for me, and kind of PlayStation is my catch-all, and it's pretty much exclusives on the other consoles. It'll probably remain that way, but I'm looking forward to it. It'll be kind of fun. Play something different, play some new games I haven't played before, so that'll be cool. So Donnie, before we get to you, because you, I know, wrapped up Night in the Woods.
Yeah.
So I've heard your comments on it. I heard Jason actually commented on Flux to Post too a little bit about it this past week.
Okay.
Cool. And you both kind of had similar reactions to it, I think.
Odd, because I didn't even really know that he was playing it. And then we both come to the table, and like he's like, "Yeah, I beat it." I was like, "Oh, yeah, I beat it too." And then yeah, we kind of felt the same way about it. Yeah.
So
ish.
Yes. I hear you. I agree with this too. So it's definitely, for those of you who haven't been following it, it's definitely much an interactive story. You know, the kind of like walking simulators, but it's in a different vein. The art is really cool. The writing is really phenomenal. It's very, very witty game, snarky humor. The characters are fantastic.
Yep.
But I hit a point today that I kind of sat back and afterwards I thought about the game a little bit. There's a lot going on in this game. Donnie's waving like a madman.
That was my Greg impression.
Oh, Greg.
Oh, okay. I was going to say.
I was waiting for somebody to say it. Nobody got it. Okay.
That's right. No, I wasn't looking at the camera, and then you kind of caught the side of my eye there. So like, what is he doing?
I thought you saw a fly or something. I was like, I mean, I feel you too, but geez.
That's his favorite character. But there's a lot of heavy messaging and themes in this game.
Yeah.
Like depression, religion, you know. It's a lot heavier than I thought. And like we all kind of, you know, joke about and say, well, it's Animal Crossing meets like a crack house or something. Like it's a lot worse than that. Like there's financial problems, there's mental
more
health
serious
issues.
Like when we were making fun of it, we were kind of like South Parking it, and it's really not. It's not like a tongue-in-cheek joke. It's pretty heavy stuff. I kind of think of it not one-to-one, but in the vein of like a Life is Strange. You know, it's very much here's a journey about things that really affect real people. Yeah. And I don't think I was expecting that at any point. So like we always do the, you know, hashtag Kevin game. Like this is a lot more serious than a Kevin game. Like I'm still loving the heck out of it, but yeah, it's not your typical Kevin game where you just laugh at the idea of playing it. This was a lot more interesting than I thought was going on. So I do have one question though. So I know the game can vary slightly depending on apparently who you hang out with more. Yeah, that was I was wanted to talk to Kevin or to Jason about that, but yeah.
Okay, so I guess we talk a little about here. So you obviously, I'm assuming, hung out with Greg a lot, right?
All the time, like as much as possible, and anytime I could choose to do so. And to be honest with you, every time I hung out with B, I was like, I got tired of hanging out with B. I was just like, man, this is just so down.
See,
and like it just gets worse and worse and worse. I was like, I need to get away from this.
See, and I hung out with her the most. So like, I'm wondering if there's parts of the games like we don't even experience then because of doing the different hangouts.
Chalfie's wanting to know if we played the extras. I did not, as I mentioned on chat. Like when I finished it, so like my thing is, I felt so bad because and Tyler, Brittany saying hi. I felt bad because I kind of got on the down train with Jason. I tried to get off of it. Like I really enjoyed the game. I really did. Yeah. You know, it's always easy to highlight the things you didn't like than to say everything that you liked about it. It was really good. I enjoyed it. But I'm sorry, you were about to say something? I feel like I was interrupting you.
No, I was just gonna say, so like I hung out with B pretty much the whole time. Like I think the only time I really hung out with Greg was the knife fight I alluded to before, kind of deal, like that whole scene. So like I'm wondering, did you go to the city with B and go to like the party and everything like that?
The party, yep.
Okay.
I was wondering if you had to do all of it, because
that's what I didn't know. Yeah,
that was kind of the thing that I think that's what made it feel long to me, because it was like I thought like you get to pick and choose, and it's like you get back and you get through it, and then you end up having to go do it anyway.
Okay.
And I was just like, all right, like I'm kind of like, that's kind of what I wanted to like really say, is that I kept wanting to get to the Greg part. Like I kept wanting to move on, and like every time I got kind of stopped along the way, I was like, hey, you know, I'm just like clicking, like come on. I want to go have fun again. But yeah.
All right, no, fair enough then. So yeah, I have not played the extras yet either, Chaffee, but I will play them next week while I'm away for sure. Because I definitely I'm not as done with it, I guess you can say, as Jason and Donnie, where like you kind of just want to get to the end. Yes, Brittany, I'm Kevin. Thank you. Hi. And I want to keep playing, so I will check out the extras as well and see.
Let me know if it's like narratively important. Like you got to go do it, and I'll go do it. Yeah. It's not that I'm not done with it by any means. I went and checked them out. Like I went and saw where they were and all that. Yeah. I just wanted to play something else. That's all.
Right. That's what I mean. Like you were done as in you wanted to move on and play something different. Like I'm okay with continuing my journey here. So, but that's it for
as long as I did.
I don't know how many hours I'm in, but I feel like I know Jason said he thought it was about 10 hours. I feel like I'm more than 10 hours in. Yeah. I'm not done. So I got to be real close, but I probably have like another hour, I think, and then I'm done. But yeah, I think I put in probably closer to 15 as well. So, but yeah, that's it for me. So I'll have a lot more to report when I come back. Not next week, the week after. So, yeah, Donnie, take it away, man. What have you been playing besides wrapping up Night in the Woods?
Yeah, but before I do that, I'd like to tell you guys that I really appreciate your friendship, and I appreciate the friendship of everybody here at Psvg and all the folks that check out our Discord and interact with us on Twitter, because this week sucked for me, gentlemen. You remember last week I was telling you like my house flooded.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So my uncle's a plumber. He lives like 3 hours away from here. And he, you know, we've been talking about, he's been helping me do things around the house. And this week he was like, all right, we're gonna fix this. We're gonna put in a pump in your crawl space. It's gonna stop all this water that comes in when it rains really bad. Because we've been like underwater all week. It's been raining almost every day. And so he comes up, and I took the day off of work, and we dug out like this 6-foot hole, and we put everything in there. And then it starts raining, and I kept going in the crawl space because, you know, I get real anxious and, you know, worried like when there's things involving like my home or my kids and all that. And I went in there and I kept looking in the bucket. And I was like, man, it's dry as can be. I don't think this is working. And it wasn't. Yeah, at one point I walked in there and the entire bucket, pump, pipe, everything. If you guys don't know what a sump pump like looks like, usually a pipe goes out the house, so usually something like through the ceiling. There's a pump dug into the ground. The pipe runs into the pump, and then there's like a pump inside of it. It had all capsized, as in the water pressure had built up so much below it that the entire pump had been ejected from the hole. The pipe had broken, and so did the pump. So we had like without exaggerating, like 2 foot of water in the crawl space, and we were taking on water in the basement. And like my Monday night was spent just bailing water out of my basement all night to like 4 in the morning. And then my uncle came up first light. He was there at 6 a.m. We redug the hole. We put another thing in, like we fixed it, and we got it fixed, and it did work the next day. The entire day sucked. And ever since then, like every day this week, I've been digging all these like pipes and like drained ditches and trenches across my yard. It's just been a very hard week of like a lot of hard work. And my uncle, the reason I'm trying to tie the story back around is my uncle was like, you know, you need to call your friends and have them come do a digging party. You know, he's like, just get a couple of your guy friends to come over and just dig.
Give me a word. I'll be there, man.
Yeah. I was like, all your neighbors must think you're like burying people or something.
Probably.
Like, what is
probably.
He doing?
My entire house looks like it's under construction right now because I'm like every gutter that I own has like corrugated pipe running off the house like 40 feet. Like I am just everywhere all day and night. I'm installing like channel drains along my driveway. Like I'm doing all kinds of things to make sure that I never have to do this ever again. This is like the 3rd or 4th time that I spent the entire night like bailing water out of my basement. And like it's so hard. Like when you're in there and the water's coming in, but you're also trying to dig and like you're in a hole and it's full of mud and you're trying to dig the mud out, but you can't dig it out fast enough when the water comes in. It's very frustrating and stressful. And but anyway, my uncle's comment made me realize I was like, I don't really have any friends that could come dig. I've got friends that would come dig, but they can't. And I just wanted to say that, you know, I appreciated like the fun joking and joshing around that we had in the Discord. And it was good. So all those folks that like joke with me, Jason, Trash Turkey, and all the folks at Twitter and whatnot, like it kind of meant a lot this week, because and that's what like my gaming habits this week, getting back to the show, is kind of reflects that. In a lot of ways, guys, I just wanted to like escape this week. When I had time to play video games, I didn't want to do anything that was hard. I think I officially gave up on Persona 5 again. It was like the second time. I've been playing it. And I got to tell you, there was a part of me, it was Tuesday. It was after all of this happened. I was sitting there playing it, and I was like, since I've restarted it like after Christmas, I've probably logged 10 hours back into this game. Yeah, I restarted it. And and I was like, I'm not going anywhere. Like, I could spend 5 hours playing this game and like feel like I've accomplished nothing at all. Like, I'm not doing anything. So then I had this thought, Kevin. I go, well, if you're going to spend 5 hours and feel like you're not going anywhere, you might as well play Everybody's Golf. At least you enjoy playing the golf game. So I've been playing that Everybody's Golf this week. It's kind of, I've talked to you guys a long time about how much I love golf games. It's kind of like my comfort food. And I've just been sitting here. I've officially moved my PlayStation 4 right here to my streaming table. So I've got a Switch dock and I've got my PS4, and they're hooked into my monitors. So I can play PS4 or Switch while I watch TV with the kids and the family. So I'm so detached. So I've been playing a lot more of the PS4 this week, and I've been golfing a lot. I still wish I could just pay the money to turn all of the grind off. Yeah, like, I would gladly give them $20 if they're like, here are all the clubs and all the courses, because I don't care about the tournaments or leaderboards. I just want to go play golf. Like, that's all I want to do. Like, I want to turn all that off and just go play golf. And maybe play some custom, some CPU characters. But if there's anybody out there still playing that game, man, I would love to play. We never streamed Everybody's Golf like as a team or anything like that. So if Kyle wants to join me, or any of the listeners out there, you guys want to play, man, let me know. I'd love to play, Everybody's Golf with somebody this week.
I mean, if you want to buy it for me, I'll take it.
Over there on that PlayStation 4, I did download and play some of that Deus Ex. That's the PlayStation Plus game this month. So I'm not a Deus Ex fan. The only Deus Ex game I ever played was the one that came over on Wii U. And I really enjoyed that game. Like, a lot. I loved it. I loved the gamepad implementation, the touchscreen, like the menus, how that, improving, his bodysuit and all that stuff, how that played on the gamepad. And then like how much that, I'm not even sure which one it is. Like, I'm not sure all the different subtitles that they all have, but the Wii U version felt like very open. It was kind of like this open Metal Gear Rising type of game where you could like attack every scenario in like multitude of ways. I played Mankind Divided, which I think is the one on PlayStation 4.
Yeah, that's the one.
For about 3 hours, and I never had that feeling. I can't tell you why. I'm not sure. There's something about the way that game moves or something. It just doesn't feel like the game that I remembered playing. It just feels very different, and I just kind of wasn't really into it, so I just kind of stopped playing it.
It was Human Revolution was the one on Wii U.
There you go. It's just, it felt weird. Like the way you move in and out of cover is almost like Gears like. Like, you tap a button to get into gear, like to cover, and then like you can like point arrows at other things and tap it, and auto runs you over there. The other game, maybe I just didn't play it right, but the other game I played on Wii U just felt very free flowing. Like I said, I felt very like a Metal Gear, like like something like that. Like, I felt these very like combos and like button mashing, and I could like jump from the ceiling. It was more like a Ninja Gaiden type thing, or at least that's how I played it. And I feel like I really couldn't do that in this one, and I think there's kind of lessen the overall experience for me, but by no means do you take that as a review of the game. That's just me playing it for 3 hours. I'm not a review series. I have that's a review. I have no idea. Like, maybe I just didn't get to the part that everybody loved or something. But yeah, I wasn't a huge fan, so I moved on. And then the game I talked about enough on Shack last night, so I won't spend too much time. But I played Owlboy, and that's the game I've been playing this week, and I adore it. It's fantastic. I didn't even want, like, I was never really wanting to buy it.
No,
like, it wasn't even really on my radar. Jason kept bringing it up. I never really paid any attention to it. I was going to buy The Fall 2, which came out, and then I was reading reviews about it, and it kind of threw me off, kind of like Fee. Yeah. I read the reviews of Fee, and I was like, I don't know. And I still think I'm still going to get Fee. I'm not like off the radar. I just wasn't like jumping in day one. I'm just going to wait till I beat some things.
Yep.
But Owlboy is gorgeous as a game using, non-realistic old school graphics can be. I've never seen it done better than that. I mean, it's beautiful. the amount of animations that they have, the way characters move, the way the background moves, like there's all kinds of movement, and it's really pretty and it's really crisp. It looks really great in portable mode. So I'm really enjoying it. It's a fun game. It's a pretty short game. Yeah, it's got some challenge, but not much. I think Kevin would breeze through it. I actually think Kevin or Jason might think it's pretty easy. I've died a few times, just a couple though.
Yeah.
And then the game I played today is that Bayo gentleman, which I'm excited to say that Kyle is going to love this game.
Oh man, I looked at it today too. I was at GameStop. I was like, I got $15 in credit. Kind of want to get me a Switch game. I'm like, man,
that Bayonetta one too.
And I was like, wait, what is that under the price sticker there? And I showed to this like, oh, that it shows the first one you get as the digital download. Oh, and the first thing my fiance says when she sees it, she's like, why would somebody buy that crap? I was like, what? She's like, that game was terrible.
My wife has words for Bayonetta.
Oh,
words we can't say on the show. But so here's the thing: reading all the reviews, because it's something I like to do. I like knowing everything about anything that I buy, always, whether it be sump pumps or video games. I was a little let down that the thing is just locked to 720p. I was just like, come on, really? The game's like 3 years old, isn't it? I feel like I've forgotten everything about the game. Like I'm playing it today, and I'm like, yeah, I don't remember half of this anymore. Like
yeah,
it feels so old.
Either. Yeah,
and it's like, so like to me, it almost feels new because of that. And I'm like, why didn't they update it? Like, why did you give me up-res? Like in today's world, everything gets up-res. Yep. Gravity Rush got up-res. Like what is this? Like it's full price game and it's not up-res. Like I feel like you should want more. You should expect more. That said though, today I sat down and I played it. I pulled the Switch out of the dock. Portably, this game looks amazing. I mean, it is one of those titles when you're holding in your hands, you're like, holy crap. It's like Mario Kart 8. You're like, how is this portable gaming now?
Yeah.
And that's when I sent out that tweet with like some gameplay clips that I had recorded while I was playing, because I was like, Kyle, I can't wait to hear. Kyle's just gonna be like, oh man, this game's amazing, because portably, it's like a superior portable experience. Like this just, it's kind of moves the portable gaming forward.
That's Donnie's hot take right there. Bayonetta 2, portably awesome.
Portably awesome. I love that. Yes. Awesome. that's our PSVG says portably awesome. Yeah, I love that's great. Good job. Good job.
Trademark that right. You're the one that said it. Well, I mean, I might have paraphrased a little, but whatever. Details.
Chalfie in the chat says that he saw my stream at Owlboy. I did stream my first hour with the game, and he says flying looked nice. And I got to admit, I think and I kind of mentioned that on the Shack. I think that's why I kind of clicked with it. There was just something about like the week that I had playing this beautiful like 16-bit Genesis art style and just flying around clouds, like this beautiful, crisp, bright world. And it kind of has like that Skyward Sword type feeling when you're like going above the clouds and everything. I was like, man, this is nice. This is joyous right here. Just enjoying good time, throwing fruit. It's a pretty stress-free gaming over here. Owlboy.
It's funny. I'm happy you like it, because it's funny. Like you said, Jason's been talking about it for a while. It's been on my radar for a while. Like when it was on PC, we actually tried to get it for review for Jason to review on PC, and it didn't work out. And then it's coming to the Switch, and I was like, oh, even better. And I'm probably gonna pull the trigger too. I just think 25 is to me, it's just a little bit much. So
I think you might be right there, only because I got caught up in a part on the game, and I went and looked up like where I was to kind of figure it out. I'm like halfway through it already.
Yeah,
I'm only like 5 hours into it.
Oh man,
I don't even know if I'm 5 hours in. Like apparently, I don't know. Right? Maybe the second half's just like super long. But I was looking at a YouTube playlist. There's like 14 videos in the playlist, and I was on like video 6. It's like, wow, I've only really played it for like 2 days.
Yeah, see that stinks. But I mean, and for once, I will say it is the there's no Switch tax on this one. It's 25 on Steam normally too. It's on sale right now for 25% off. It puts it down to 18.74. But yeah, even on Steam, it's 20. It goes for 25.
That's rare.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be a lot cheaper, so that's why I went to look. I'm like, oh, it's probably like $10 on Steam by now. But no, it's up there. But it's reviewed well on there too. People like it, so I will definitely jump in. Just I kind of like you with fees. You're not in a rush to get to it. It'll be the same thing for me for Owlboy. I'll get it eventually. Just when the time comes and I clear up a couple things. So
I'm very much looking forward to Old Man's Journey this week. I'm going to stream that because
the funny thing is I literally bought that just because you said you bought it. I know nothing about the game. I saw a couple screenshots and I was like, $10. I'll give it a shot. Why not? Another story game.
I thought this was a real life thing. Like he was like going to go get his mail or something from the mailbox, you know, old man's journey. But apparently it's an actual game. My bad.
Get off my lawn, kids.
You know,
because I saw it. I watched. I think I posted like the trailer in our chat.
Yeah, you did.
Like, hey, has anybody ever heard of this? I posted the same thing on Twitter, and I had like 6 people like the game's amazing. I was like, really? It's $10, and they're like, it's great. And I'm like, okay. Done. I'm kind of like Kevin. I'm like, sure. $10. Let's do it.
I'm just hoping it loads. So I know like the pre-purchase games generally load at midnight, so you can start downloading them right away. I hope that's the case with this one, and it's not pushed back because I'm flying out at 5 a.m. that morning. So I'd love for it to already be on my Switch while I'm on the road, because who knows if like the hotel Wi-Fi is going to let me download it. So I may not even get to play it till I get back. So I'm hoping it.
I thought they already loaded, and like when it goes live on eShop, you just unlock it. Because every time I try to play it, it keeps going, let's check the shop, see if you can play it.
Yeah, you know what? I think you're right, because Brawl did the same thing.
So I think if you can just hit that eShop once in that window, I think you'd be good.
Perfect. All right. I can do that in the morning on the way in. So cool. All right. But you've heard enough from us. It's time to hear from you guys. It's time to check the messages. Our first one comes from Trash Turkey once again. Thank you for the question again. Do you like to go to garage sales / pawn shops to look for games? If so, what's your best video game haul? Tyler, let's go to you first.
I got a bit of a side answer to this. I guess the real answer would be no. I don't usually go to the garage sales / pawn shops. Also, thank you, Trash Turkey, for sending us a cool question like this. The reason why is because my father is a picker. He likes to go to the garage sales, buy a bunch of stuff, and sell it. And one of his main commodities was video games.
That's awesome.
And so theoretically, I would do what he's Trash Turkey suggesting through him. As in, my dad would buy the games. He would see, oh, you know, Twilight Princess for the GameCube. Do you want this? I got a GameCube too. I managed to get it for $5. I'm like, heck yeah, I'll take that. You know, that's how I started through my college days, is playing games like that. But I would also say it is a very rare thing to have. But the one time I went to a pawn shop to buy a video game, and it was out of pure luck, and it was sometime in like early 2000s, I believe. It was me and my father went to a pawn shop. We busted or ran across a little game called Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. Never touched it yet. It was during that time where I was starting to get into the phase. And so I looked at my dad. I was like, can I get that? That's $10. And I got a 64. And he was like, no. Well, 3 days later, he shows up with it from the pawn shop. So if it wasn't for the pawn shop, I would never had the chance to get, you know, Ocarina of Time. So, you know, do I like to? I don't usually do it in my spare time. Do I appreciate it? Totally. 100%.
Cool. So yeah, when I was growing up, my parents, they were big into going to yard sales. Like there was this one neighborhood kind of nearby that would have like an annual one where the whole neighborhood would do yard sales, and it's a big thing. So I always had fun going to those, and I would pick up, you know, older generation games, not like going super far back retro like nowadays, but at the time, like grabbing some NES games or SNES games, even PlayStation 2 to an extent, like those types of games, grabbing those. So I had a lot of fun doing that. I don't do it anymore, unfortunately. I don't really have any retro consoles, and you don't really see people, you know, selling PS4 games at a yard sale nowadays. So I'm kind of out of luck there. But the best haul I ever did have, though, this was years after I'd already moved on from the Super Nintendo and onto the other consoles. I did, again, for the second time, was able to purchase Earthbound and Final Fantasy 3, they called it on the SNES. Again, and I got them for $10 for the 2 of them. And
nice.
Yeah, I flipped them like a year later for like 150 or something for the pair of them. So, because those are super high in the resale market back then when they weren't, you know, as available as they are nowadays to download on other consoles and stuff. But yeah, I mean, that's probably the greatest hauls. I did a quick flip. You know, I bought them, played them through again, you know, enjoyed them again for another couple months, and then turned around and sold them for, you know, what, 10 times the profit or whatever the case is. So it was good haul. Donnie, what about you? You hitting up the yard sales?
Come on. Come on, guys.
The saving money, frugal, you know, lord of the cheap coupon realm? No. Donnie pays everything full price every single time. No questions asked.
Not at all. I love
a game on the ground, and you take it to the nearest police station because somebody clearly lost a game and it needs to be rightfully returned. I'm sorry. Did I answer his question for him? No. Sorry.
No, you did not. I love dropping into hole in the wall places and seeing what I can find. And I'm not really a collector much, so I typically like flip stuff all the time. Like I'll flip anything. I flip my house. Basically, that's basically what we did. We sold our house 2 years ago. It basically was like, I got the tax bill. I was like, have you seen how much our house is worth? We need to sell this right now. Yeah, I mean, no, I love that. Anytime we ever go on vacation, it's one of the first things I do. I hit the local Craigslist. I start asking people, hey, you got any pawn shops or anything? My best score was actually 3 years ago when we moved into this house. I actually think we had started PSVG. I'm pretty sure. I think at that point in time, I had went to get a root canal. Fun day, right?
Oh,
and was walking around with this awful mouth gauzed up and all that, and was in just kind of exploring. Like we moved out here kind of to the sticks. We are very much like on the periphery of Metro Atlanta, and the local town down the street's Dallas, Georgia. So I started walking around there, and I find like this used, just hand-me-down place, just like a trade-in. Everything's used, but it's not like there's no theme. It's clothes. It's like a Goodwill or something, but it's a little mom and pop store. I walk in there. And I bought, and Jace will remember this because he tweeted at me constantly. I bought about 25 GameCube games, all the ones that you would want, the ones that you would want, and half of them were sealed.
Oh my god!
Wow! Like Zelda, the collector's edition with all the different ROMs on them. There was 3 of them, and they were sealed. I bought the collector. It had the collector edition Resident Evil 4 with the 10, like the 10 thing. Wind Waker, all the Zeldas, all the Marios, 1,000 Year Door, everything. I bought them all for $55. That's how much I paid for the entire stack. They were like $3 a piece. I bought them all for $55. I flipped them on Craigslist like 3 months later for like $500. Because crazy. Like I brought them home. Like the long story is I brought them home. We put them in a GameCube. I went and got a GameCube on eBay, and I was like, my kids are going to play these. We're going to keep these games forever. And then after literally after a weekend, my kids were like, we're not going to play that. Like they just couldn't go back in time. They just didn't appreciate it. And like I kind of played it, but it just got to the point where they were sitting there. And if you've got like that much retro game just sitting there like that, I was just like, come on, somebody wants these. I put them on Craigslist. I had all kinds of people. The guy that bought them drove from Tennessee. Like there were all kinds of people, the thing that sucks about Craigslist, you get lowballed like out, just incredibly all the time. And I
get that game for $5? I know it's worth 150.
Yeah, I was like, legit, I know exactly how much these go for, especially like sealed. Because I didn't even open them all, like especially the duplicates.
I'm doing you a favor by taking them off your hands.
I mean, I was like, I know exactly how much they cost, and I'm giving you a deal. Like at this price, if I wanted to piece them all out separately, I could. But no, he was a cool guy. So yeah, I love this stuff. Actually, I almost bought a Wii U this week.
Oh God. Wait, did you get rid of the one you had, or you still had it as a Zelda machine?
So I had one with Zelda, Wind Waker, Hyrule Warriors, and Twilight Princess, and then Hyrule Warriors got ported to Switch. So I told Jason, I was like, I think I'll trade this in now. Like, I don't want to keep a system for I'm waiting for that inevitable day that Wind Waker comes and that system becomes obsolete, right?
Yeah.
I had a colleague at work who's buying his son an Xbox One, and he had bought him a Wii U a couple years ago, and he's like, hey, do you want it? And I was like, well, how much do you want for it? He's like, I don't know, $100. And I was like, well, you have any games for it? And he's got all the Zeldas and Marios. And I was like,
come on.
I don't know. I might have to get another one.
You're like, I'll give you 75 for everything.
I may have to do that too. I may have to. But I mean, because it's one of those things where I think about it. I'm like this week, right? And I mentioned like this week that had I kept my Wii U, instead of playing the games I played this week, I guaranteed you I would have played Wind Waker. That's exactly what I would have done this week. I would have sat down and played Wind Waker again and just disappeared. And I didn't have it, and I kind of felt it. And I was like, man, I don't know what I'm going to play. So when he offered the thing, I was like, man, $100. When the time comes, I could get that money back out of it.
I totally imagine you with like Rick Harrison from Pawn Stars. I'll give you 30 for it.
Best I can do is 30.
Best offer I can.
That's the best.
I told him I'd think about it. He was like, "Sure, don't worry about it." So I might.
Hang him on a stick.
Got the Zelda controller though. I never owned one of those. Like the Wii U gamepad. Because he bought the Wind Waker edition. Because I told him Wind Waker was amazing.
Oh, I thought you were talking about I got the classic old school one where you kind of like hot glue it to the actual gamepad, completely green, and it has like the Zelda dungeon design on it.
I need you to
never heard of this?
No, I need you to send me a link to this. But yeah.
Fair enough. All right. So thank you again, Trash Turkey. If you guys haven't already and you're listening, check out his podcast, Backlog Busters. Good show. Just started. I think they're on like episode 3 now or 4 at this point. So good show. Check them out. Support them because they support us. So they're all good people over there. Second question tonight comes from D-Life HD, who actually just jumped in the chat just in time to hear their question addressed. First of all, love the show, guys. Second question, 2 questions. So I review mobile games on YouTube. As we know, a lot of indie titles are shared between mobile and the Switch. Example, as we talked about earlier, Old Man's Journey is coming. What makes the Switch better when mobile is already gamepad compatible and has screen mirroring? For me, I think the biggest thing is I do actually play a lot of mobile games. I know some of the guys don't, but I do have a tendency to do it. The biggest thing for me is I like to have a streamlined performance. So I will go and play some of these mobile games if they're ported to the Switch, and they're good because there are some bad ones that are being ported as well. We don't even need to discuss that again. We talked about, what was that Rhythm one that came out early, Donnie, that was like being charged like $30 when the Switch launched?
Voez. It's funny you bring that up because they just dropped a new game called Demo, like demo, but with 2 E's, Demo.
Okay.
And I was reading on Polygon earlier. It's actually pretty good. And it's $25 and there's like 40 songs. And like apparently you can now play portably and docked. They have a controller support, which Voez didn't. That's why we remembered that one. But apparently, like all this, it's all classical based, but the controller support, the dock, the portable mode, all that. And they were like, it's actually pretty good, guys. I was actually thinking about buying it today. I looked at it. I was like, I wish I had a demo.
Yeah, I mean, when it's done right, it's fine. But just for me, I like having the actual controller versus the virtual buttons or whatever the case is, or just touchscreen only. And it's just easier sometimes to sit down and not have to worry about your battery life or something else going on where you're, not able to play dedicated to it. It's weird when you play a game on a mobile. At least for me, it doesn't feel like it's a true game. It's more kind of like this is a time waster. Whereas if you're playing it on a console, be it portable or even on the big screen, if you're playing it docked, it just feels like an actual game that way to me. So that's the difference for me. But I will admit though, is even though my phone has a capability of using a gamepad, I've only done that like once, and I didn't really like it because the gamepad is like the same size as my phone, so it seems a little odd to be playing like that. And then screen mirroring, I've actually never done that with my phone. I don't know why.
Heck, I don't even know what screen mirroring is. You want to let me in on the secret here?
You don't know? It's basically you're able to, if you have like a Fire Stick or anything like that, a Roku box or things like that, you can actually stream your phone to your TV screen.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so
wow, I'm old.
A lot of Samsung and LG devices will be able to do it natively through the phone and through the television. But I have the capability of doing that. I've just never done it. So for me, if it's offered on both and it's a good game on mobile, then I will 100% support it on a console. If it's just shovelware junk, then it can just continue to be shovelware junk and go somewhere else for me. Tyler, your thoughts, sir? Do you do any phone?
I'm going to say my question I just asked kind of gave away some of my lack of, conversation on this part. Honestly, the only time I actually do gaming on the phone, at least back then, that involved controller use was emulators. And
sure,
I'm going to be honest here, I could totally do that on the computer, or in some cases, they are consoles. So I honestly can't really think of anything too crazy. And no offense, anytime I consider other options than actual consoles and whatnot, I think of my PlayStation TV. PlayStation TV didn't do so hot, but no, I don't have anything good on this conversation. Sorry, bud.
It's all good. Donnie, sir, your thoughts then? I know you kind of jumped in a little bit, but
yeah, it's funny. D-Life did mention it's mostly an Apple. I always remember that screen mirroring thing being a real Apple thing.
Totally.
Yeah, it's all in the Apple ecosystem. I don't like mobile games. I never feel like they're just as good as what I'm used to. I always feel like
find them at a grad sale. Yep, I feel you.
And I always feel like I'm playing like a lesser experience, like feel like in my hands, like a feeling, not the game itself. The games are fun. You can tap them. Like I played Fire Emblem Warriors and stuff like that. But even was it Heroes? But even that stuff, like you guys know me, I play mobile games like on my Chromebook, typically with a mouse. Like it's just it's the feel. The only thing that I can really add to the conversation is I had several of those like mobile gaming system boxes. So I had Apple TV, play the Apple TV. It's got motion controls and it's got this little controller thing that you can, go sideways and tap. I had a PlayStation TV. Most notably, though, I had that Shield tablet like 2 years before the Switch came out. I never found a good gamepad. Like that Shield gamepad was weird. I think the best one that I found was a Steel Series 1, and it was close. It wasn't so bad, It felt a lot like this E-Kit Switch controller that I mentioned last time on Switch. It was felt good in the sense that it felt quality, but like you kind of feel like you get what you're paying for. But that Steel Series controller was pretty good. It was $50. That's what I had on the Apple TV, and that's what I had on the Shield, and it worked well. But then again, like the mobile game experience, just like like I still played, was it the NFL game, whatever it's called, NFL Live, Madden Today, or something like that. There's an NFL Madden game you can play. Yeah. It's not as good as Madden. No. Like it's it's really? Just exactly. It's like you feel bad, and you mentioned ROMs. Kevin knows, like I was doing all the ROMs and everything. Like they don't feel the same. At least on my computer, they don't feel the same. Like they just don't feel the same. If you're not playing with the same controller, it doesn't feel right. Like doesn't feel the same. And like all the hoops and everything you got to jump through to make all that work in terms of the emulators and the versions and all that. Like, yeah, I don't know. I just didn't think they're really for me. But I definitely think they're closing the gap. I think that's the important thing to notice, right? And the Switch is like an example of that. The gap between what we consider mobile games versus console games is getting real blurry, because there are a lot of mobile games that are coming to consoles. Like, I'm still shocked Fallout Shelter hasn't hit Switch. I'm shocked that that's not there.
Don't say that.
Oh, it totally should come.
I will.
And he mentioned NBA Jam. I played NBA Jam.
I can go right back out.
NBA Jam is great. Even on mobile, it's great, but it's it's just like it's a simple experience. And sometimes you want that, and that's great for mobile. But I think the Switch having the mobile port plus the games that were that are more console based, like the fact like on Switch that I can play Old Man's Journey and Bayonetta, makes me more eager to play them there than to play them on my phone, I guess.
Fair enough. Well, thanks again for the question there, D-Life. You can check out his channel on youtube.com/DLifeHD. Got some cool stuff up in there. Like you said, does mobile games. He also does some music reviews and some sports talk, it looks like, there too. So check them out. Thanks for listening. Last question, then we'll just throw it in there because Chowfie is in the chat and he mentioned it earlier and we kind of weren't at that point yet where we can answer, but we will now. Anyone play Crossing Souls? I'm interested but unsure. So I think this is a hashtag Kevin game. I have not played it yet. It is from Devolver Digital. It's available on Steam and PS4. On sale on PS4 right now for $11.99. I haven't played it, Chowfie, but it has been on my radar. I am interested. I will recommend to you, yes, you should download and play it simply because one of the main characters' name is Kevin. So you should just do it because of that.
Good reason. I always, if there's a Tyler or something in there, I gotta buy it.
Right. It makes sense. So Chowfie, buy it because my name's in it. So there you go. You have my endorsement. So yeah, thank you everybody for sending in your questions this week. As always, you can tweet at us at PSVG, or you can send us an old-fashioned email if you'd like to podcast@playsomvideogames.com, and we will address your question on the next episode.
Ooh.
It's time, gentlemen. Clock's running, so we only got about 20 minutes left. Let's jump into the news of the week. Tyler, I like yours, so you're going first, man.
Of course. Now, technically speaking, this is still in the rumor section. There's nothing been official, but there's been so many confirmations on leaks and all that stuff that it's pretty much in the makings, and it would be crazy if it wasn't going to happen. So for those who haven't been aware, there's been quite a few games that have been coming out with remasters. If you think of like Jak and Daxter, or in this case, Crash Bandicoot, the Insane Trilogy. There's been a lot of talk, and for the most part, some sources have confirmed that Spyro the Dragon trilogy will be coming out in a remastered form by Activision. So, boo freaking yeah. Not like boo, that's bad. No, this is great.
Are you serious?
What?
You're not joking me. You're not being sarcastic.
No, I'm excited.
Great, because when I mentioned Spyro like 6 months ago, I feel like everybody hated me for it.
No, I'm with
Spyro.
I'm with you.
Spyro.
I'd rather have Spyro than Crash. I'm with you.
Yes.
I'm 100% specific here. Only the 3 that came out for the PlayStation. The GameCube ones, fine, whatever. But honestly, the first 3 that came out, Ripto's Rage, and they're so good. It was my first PlayStation game. Like I got the PlayStation 3 months after I got a Super Nintendo. My sister got Spyro the Dragon, shocker, and I got Rugrats, some crap Rugrats game. She liked Rugrats, I liked Spyro, so we switched games, and that was my first PlayStation game, and I was terrified of like the bulls and angry rams and stuff, but I got over it fairly quickly, and it was a blast. Oh yeah, I'm excited.
I'll tell you, man. So like people knock it, but I mean, the last couple were terrible, but the Skylander games, the first two, I really enjoyed because it essentially was a Spyro game. Yes, there was more characters you can add to it, but at its core, it was a Spyro game. Like that's exactly what it was. It really wasn't that different. And I platinum with both of those, believe it or not. The first two Skylanders, I platinum, and I bought like tons of the characters. I still have them. Like they were fun. So I'm 100% ready for a remastered Spyro collection. I think it's awesome.
I'm all for Spyro. We mentioned this when Crash came out, right?
Yeah.
Like when the Crash Collects came out, I was like, I would prefer if they had a Spyro. I don't mean to start a fanboy war. I like Spyro games, and I didn't really like Crash games. And I love collections and I love ports. So I almost bought the Crash game. It was like on sale like last week or 2 weeks ago for like $20. I was like, maybe. And then I remembered when I played it on Uncharted 4, I was like, no, I just, I don't like playing the game. But I think they offer incredible value. But in addition to it being a collection, it being a game that I actually enjoy, my son knows Spyro and loves Spyro because of the Skylanders and all that stuff. So I would love to actually give him a Spyro game, and I think he would love it. I would prefer to buy it on Switch, but considering the news, the rumor is that it's going to have 1 year exclusivity on PlayStation 4, then I think we'll be buying it on PlayStation 4. I'm not going to wait for it. I want to play it anyway. Yeah. So
I can't wait to meet Moneybags again. Oh my gosh, I missed that son of a gun progress gating bear thing. Oh, on a side note, have you guys this is what I was talking about for the Wii pad, and you can see Kevin's reflection in this, but
okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, I've seen that in the case. For some reason I thought you were talking like you said glued it on. I thought you were talking like some fan creation.
It's a snap on. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't the one that put this together. But yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. But anyways, yeah.
No, I was actually, you're talking about that Wind Waker edition when it's all imprinted on it.
I
might buy it just for that. Like no joke. I might buy it just for the controller.
And now I'm thinking about all the good times I had, like that one skateboarding level on the third game. Oh gosh, that freaking. Okay, sorry. I'm gonna stop reminiscing. Yes, I'm very excited for Spyro the Dragon. Hope it comes out. What's next in the news, guys?
Donnie, take it away, man. You got two, so why don't you hit up yours?
I was tweeting. Runner 3 went gold. I know that one off the top of my head because I have the game pre-ordered, and as you guys know, it's one that I've been eagerly awaiting over on Switch. And the GameStop pre-order date is like April 20th or something. Like I was kind of thinking it was a ways away, and then, then the Bit Trip Runner folks tweeted out like, "Hey, we've submitted this to Nintendo, so if they get approval, this game could come out much sooner, as in like March. It could come out much sooner than we expect. I'm not sure how much turnaround for printing carts and all that is. Maybe it comes out digitally before it." This one's an interesting, guys. I know, Kevin, I don't think you're into the Runners thing, right? So I really like Runner games, and I really love the platformer, and Runner on Wii U was fantastic. It was such a good game. But they've always been, like indie budget titles. I think this one might in trouble. I mean, for anybody that doesn't know, I think I brought it up before, but I'll bring it up again. And this game's $40.
Wow.
That is a lot for an indie game. Now, I'm not saying it's not worth it. I just hope that they're making it worth it. I mean, you have to think they know that people are going to get a little sticker shock after that. Like this is their 5th game. If you count the collection that came to 3DS and all the old Bit Trip Runner games, like they've never been that much. So I'm taking the hopeful, optimistic approach, and I'm hoping
You're going big, Donnie.
Yeah, I'm hoping that I'm like in for a treat here. It's like we price it $40 because we did stuff, that you're gonna really love. So I'm excited for it. But it went gold. Release date should be coming from them soon. So keep your eyes peeled, and I'll definitely let you know here on PSVG or on the Shack whenever that news comes.
Sounds good. Kevin, what do you got, man? Oh, okay. Kevin, you are quiet. He's busy. Okay, Donnie, you said what's your other piece of news, man?
My other piece of news is that THQ Nordic bought Deep Silver. So they bought Deep Silver. That came out on Eurogamer, I think last week or earlier this week. Essentially what that means is that THQ, which is, like they went under and then somebody bought them, and then like they're kind of rebuilding THQ as that middleware type of platform. They're the Darksiders people, which I love. And Darksiders was it 4 now, right? Yep. Oh man, I really hope.
Well, we're at 3. We're at 3.
No, Darksiders 3. And I really hope Darksiders 3 gets a Switch port. I don't know, because what they were showing in those trailers are great, but that was one of the things I was hoping for. But anyway, this basically means that they own the crazy GTA game, Saints Row. Yep. They own Dead Island, and what's the other one, Kevin? Homefront.
What you put him on?
Homefront. Call of Duty, the Call of Duty clone. So they own Homefront, which the original Homefront was great. I don't know about folk, but the Homefront I played on 360, I loved. That was the whole like United States gets occupied and everything. That was fantastic.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah, so I mean that's a good series. Like somebody can make money on that. That series has money there. Saints Row will always have money as long as GTA does well. I think people are always looking for more of that. And then, Dead Island. I mean, there was that Dead Island game that was announced, but then like the studio shuttered, but then they get transferred. So, like,
I don't know what happened with that because that's the one where Jack Black was voicing the main character too.
Yeah, like that trailer came out there good somewhere. So essentially, you think THQ bought that and they own that now. So maybe they'll redo it or cancel it, or like maybe they'll do something with it. I don't know, but they paid a pretty penny for it, 121 million euro.
Yeah.
So I think they're gonna make some games, gentlemen.
yeah. I mean, they'd be silly not to. Like Saints Row. Yeah, it's not a Grand Theft Auto at this point, like money wise, it's certainly not, but it has a fan base. And for me, I've preferred most of them, not all of them, most of the Saints Row games to Grand Theft Auto because it's a little more fun. They're a little jokey, a little tongue in cheek, and I like that. If they apply that same mechanic to Dead Island, which is what it looked like it was going to do, but it never happened, then that's another win. Like those games will always sell decent. I don't think they're going to be blockbusters, but they'll sell decent. They should be able to get their money back. But yeah, they obviously have plans because it'd be stupid to pay that much and then not do something with the asset. So we got to be seeing it coming. I'll be excited.
All right.
Yeah. My turn. Well, I don't know if Tyler had any comments on that. So.
Oh, no. I don't have anything witty to say. So.
Okay. Well, guys, we had another week where there was layoffs in the gaming industry. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Mafia 3 developer Hangar 13 laid off a significant number of staff the other day in another example of the video game industry's brutal churn. Now, we know a lot of people work as contracted for game developers. Like, hey, you're signed on for this game, and once this game is done and DLC is done, then have fun finding another job unless you're a high-value asset to the company. Like that's a constant flux in the gaming industry. But 2K confirmed that they let go a large amount of the staff. They didn't give out exact numbers here. But the interesting thing I found here was, so Mafia 3 did pretty well. That was considered a win.
Okay. I mean, their fastest selling title in 2K history, right?
Yep. And they sold over 5 million copies as of early 2017. It was Hangar 13's first game. And that's a big one too, because a lot of people think Mafia 3 is the best in the series so far. It's on my back catalog. I haven't gotten to it yet, but I enjoyed Mafia 1 and 2. They were good. They were flawed, but they were good. Like I enjoyed the experience. And then this one, suppose he's a whole new beast, and it was a lot better. So it's a shame to see that, they did everything right as far as a gaming developer can do. You came out with the game, it was a success, it was the fastest one in your publisher's history, and then your team's gone. That's a little sad. That brings me down. But the strange part of the story too is that they were allegedly in like testing mode for whatever their next game was going to be. Like they were all hands on deck to work on whatever was going to be next. So it seems a little weird
that's cold.
Yeah, so I don't know if they weren't coming up with something big, maybe that was the case, or I don't know, who knows? But yeah, they were testing, they're working on new projects, and it apparently is all out the window right now, and there just hasn't been any other comment as to what's next for them. So we shall see. But it's sad, and we hate to see when it happens. But hopefully they land on their feet, or who knows, maybe someone break off and do some great indie title that we've all been enjoying a lot more lately. So.
I was thinking you got to think one of the higher ups just maybe didn't like what they were planning to do, right? And they cut bait. My immediate reaction to this was, you're right, Kevin. I mean, I feel like every 2 or 3 months we get this story, and I'm starting to wonder like how much of it is still a story. Like, is this just a story because video games don't have news? Because I mean, we see this with smaller studios. Like I see it on Twitter, like smaller studio heads go out and they post like an apology or a letter, and but it's like. It seems like every studio does this. you know, studios ramp up for games, they get games out, and then, you know, they release people, they let them go. And it's just like, that's just the nature of the business. And I don't mean to sound non-empathetic, but, you know, like if you're a stockbroker, you get into stock marketing, like your job is volatile, and that you knew what you were doing when you got into it. And if you make video games, like I kind of feel like, you know, that this is going to be kind of the road that, you know, that you're going to go down. But it's never good when, you know, folks lose their job. I'm glad the game sold well, because you're, like I said, you know, they didn't hit the reviews they wanted. I enjoyed it. Yeah, look forward to seeing what, you know, whatever comes up, if anything ever does. But yeah,
pour one out for them, because holy crap, and you're right. If you think about it, the more often it happens, the less it becomes, you know, situations for people and more statistic. And once you get into the statistics, you really start to forget, you know, these are people with families and stuff, and it just really stinks that we're going to be losing them.
I think that like BioShock like Kickstarter thing is way, or System Shock is way more news. You know, these are people with, you know, $1 million Kickstarter money just gone. That's news. So I mean, is it optimistic to think, like I do, that when these studios shutter down, I mean, we always see all the other studios, you know, post tweets like, hey, we're looking for such, like, these people find other jobs. It's not like they're just going
most of the time,
be Uber drivers or something like that.
No, that's true, but it's just kind of crappy, man, when you think, like, especially if you move to another state to then work for another developer.
That's true.
You work for 2 years and you got to uproot again, and like stuff like that. That's kind of where I feel it hits and hurts the most.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But it is what it is. We wish them all the best of luck, and hopefully they make the next big thing. Who knows? But I think that'll wrap it up for this evening, guys. So before we leave, you know, thank everybody for listening once again. Do us a favor, make sure you tell a friend, spread that good word. We obviously have enough content here to keep everyone busy at all times. We're pretty much a podcast a day now at this point. But yeah, so thanks for listening. Thanks for telling a friend. Tyler, where can people find you, and anything you might want to plug or what you've been up to?
The usual stuff. You can check me out on Twitter. I'm 2x Tyler, as Kevin kindly stated my name as in the very beginning. But details, you can check my work as well as everybody else's on youtube.com/playsomevideogames, which is probably where you are if you're watching this live. And if not, well, you know where to look.
Fair enough. Donnie, anything you'd like to plug, sir?
Yeah, I'm over on Twitter at PSVG and at Playin Nintendo. I typically do that. And we've got all kinds of Twitter accounts now. We've at Board with VG and at PSXP Podcast and at PSVG Empire of Xbox. I don't know them all. But here's you know, and Fiona mentioned this, and I know Josh had mentioned this in some back and forth a while back. If you go to the PSVG account and you click on lists, we have a PSVG team list that everybody's included on. Yeah. And you can subscribe to that list if you just want to like tune into what we're doing, or you can just say, hey, who's a part of this list, and just follow those 13 accounts, and you can keep up with all those there. So do that. My 2018 resolution is to encourage you all to please tell a friend about the show. We don't monetize the show. We don't make money off of clicks or anything like that. What we do love, though, is seeing that people listen to it, and we love it when folks come hang out in the chat and people comment to us on Twitter. So if you would be so kind, the best thing that you could do for us is just tell a friend about the show. Just, hey, tweet one of your friends. Go, hey, have you ever heard of these guys at PSVG? Just something like that would be fantastic.
Absolutely. We love that. We love that. So, yeah, we hit up all the big things. Check out the website, playsomevideogames.com. Join the Discord. As Donnie mentioned, we have a lot of fun over there pretty much all hours of the day with all different topics at hand. So it's always a fun time. You can come hang out with us. As he said, you know, we don't charge for anything there. So it's free entertainment of our shenanigans and general nonsense overall. You can find me on Twitter at PSVGKevin. My console stuff you can find. Just hit me up on Twitter. I'll let you know. If you want to link up console-wise, I will share my Xbox gamer tag once that is up and running sometime tomorrow, probably. And then I do hope over next week while I'm away, I do plan on actually, I think I'm going to tackle, because Donnie and Jason have played it and moved on. I will do the official review for Night in the Woods, I think. I'll write a little review up for that and have that up sometime next week. So look forward to that, everybody. Also, make sure you check out, we mentioned this last week, but it went live this week as well. Early Morning Gamer is no more, but PSXP, the PlayStation Experience, is up with the first episode dropped Wednesday. So let us know what you guys think about that. Tweet at us. Let us know if you enjoyed it. Any changes you want to see, any new ideas you got, let us know. We value your feedback as always, everybody. But more importantly, more important than all that stuff. The single most important thing you can do for us is what, Tyler?
Never stop gaming.